Good morning in the Americas, good evening in Asia, good afternoon in Kenya and East Africa. It's exactly 4 p.m. here in Nairobi. Time for Citizen TV Briefs. My name is Jimmy Mbogo. Let's get you informed on some of the stories making headlines here in the country. Now, a man suspected to have shot Kasipul MP Charles Were has been arraigned in court. The suspect, identified as Isaac Kuria alias Kush, will be detained at the Kasarani police station for 30 days pending the conclusion of investigation. Police say he is the man who was contracted to kill the MP.
Mheshimiwa, uchunguzi unahusiana na kifo cha aliyekuwa mbunge wa Kasipul kwa majina Charles Were. Mheshimiwa, alitumia hiyo bunduki ambayo ilitumika kuua marehemu mbunge wa Kasipul. Mheshimiwa, kuna washukiwa wengine ambao bado wanazidi kutafutwa na polisi na wengine tayari pia wameshikwa katika hizo siku 30. Mheshimiwa.
All right, of course, more details will be coming your way later on that story. Now, moving on. Meanwhile, the High Court has ordered businessman Philip Aroko to remain in police custody as directed by the lower court until the full 7-day period is completed. Aroko was arraigned at the JKIA law courts last week as part of the ongoing investigation into the murder of Kasipul MP. He appeared before Justice Alexander Muteti in the application his lawyers had filed to have him produced in court. Now the application has since been withdrawn. Now, the High Court has directed officers charged with the murder of Baby Pendo not to set foot at the scene of the crime, namely in Nyalenda, Nyamasaria, and Nyawita, as part of enhanced conditions issued last week pending bail. The court further ordered that the accused persons must not contact any witnesses or victims. These new directives were issued to allow time for preparation of a comprehensive bail report, which is to be submitted within 2 weeks. In the case, 4 senior police officers were last week charged in connection with the killing of the 6-month-old baby in Kisumu in 2017. The case is scheduled for mentioning on the 28th of this month.
So have we resolved? Therefore, pending pre-bail report and IPO affidavit to be filed, and any other party filing pleadings through the DR Criminal Division within 7 days, the first, second, and third, and fourth persons shall remain out on bond on the same terms, on condition that they will not interfere with the witnesses, they will not tamper with the evidence, they will not leave the jurisdiction of the court.
At the same time, Homa Bay Deputy Governor Joseph Oyugi Magwanga says his life is in danger. Magwanga spoke in Homa Bay after an incident in which his security exchanged fire with gunmen outside his home in Oyugis. He says he switched vehicles after he was told that unknown people had been seen outside his home. The unknown people attacked his official vehicle only to be met by his security. He says he has reported the matter to the police, but police say it is too early to make comments on the case.
In light of the office I hold and the increasingly worrisome trend of political violence, especially the targeting of leaders in Kasipul constituency, this attack is not only alarming but deeply troubling. While we patiently await the findings of the investigation, I call for calm among the public and urge everyone to refrain from speculation that could heighten tension or derail the pursuit of the truth.
Now, the Supreme Council of Kenya Muslims have told politicians to stop meddling in the process of reconstituting the new IEBC. SUPKEM Chair Hassan Olenado says the process to recruit the commissioners was competitive and called on Parliament to further vet the nominees to give the country a competent body to manage the election. SUPKEM remarks comes days after Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka claimed that the opposition was not consulted before the president nominated the commission chair and commissioners for vetting in Parliament.
One of the issues raised by a senior politician is that there should have been further consultations within the dominant political class before the president announced the nominees from the list presented to him by the selection panel. We find this suggestion absurd because constituting the selection panel itself was a very participatory, negotiated, and consultative process. In fact, some of the senior politicians now are admonishing the president for announcing the nominees as their competent representatives on the selection panel. So unless they are saying that they don't trust the contribution of their representatives on the selection panel, another round of consultations to agree on the persons already recruited by the panel, by the selection panel, would only serve to open another round of unnecessary haggling and political horse trading that will further delay the constitution of IEBC. Just the way the interests of justice are not in favor of endless litigation, public interest is not in favor of endless consultations.
Kuna by-elections nyingi, wakati hauko na sisi kuanza tena upya. Kwa nini watu wakawa wababaika juu ya uteuzi ambao wa panel? Tumewatagua panel kwa maridhiano, watu wamekubali juu ya panel. Sasa imekuwa watu wataka kuzunguka. Hii ni kutia tashwishi. Ni kutia tashwishi kwa sababu watu hawa wakichaguliwa itakuwa kuna question marks za zote. Waache watu wafanye kazi yao.
Now, Kenya and Finland have signed memoranda of understanding on political and diplomatic consultation and cooperation on peace mediation and conflict resolution. Finnish President Alexander Stubb, who is on an official visit to Kenya, was hosted by President William Ruto at State House, Nairobi, as the two nations agreed to have an educational strategic cooperation, youth training, healthcare, and trade, among other key items.
We equally look forward to learning from Finland's expertise in sustainable forest management, reforestation technology, biodiversity conservation, and balancing economic and environmental goals. At the multilateral level, we reaffirmed our shared commitment to a rules-based international order and fair, inclusive financing for sustainable development.
Climate change, forestry, development, global health, technology, economy. And I'm sure that countries which might be far away but still in the same time zone will have many opportunities to cooperate together. And I don't say this just as a diplomatic nicety. Finland is seeking close partners, and Kenya will certainly be one of them.
Public Service Principal Secretary Dr. Jen Imbuya says the ministry will fully support the funding of the ongoing investigation into alleged procurement irregularities at the National Youth Service. The PS says anybody found culpable in the alleged embezzlement of 2 billion shillings at the NYS College in Gilgil, as detailed in a report by Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, will carry their own cross. The PS made the remarks when she toured the NYS College along Thika Road.
I said that once the bodies that are running these investigations give their recommendations, and that there are certain issues that we have to implement, we shall for sure do it to the letter. But because it is a live matter that is ongoing, we cannot discuss so much, but just wait for those very able bodies to do what they have to do, because all of them are government agencies, and give us the feedback. And for sure, we shall implement that feedback to the letter. But having said that, I should also mention that last week, week, the new minister, who is the CEO of the ministry, also gave his full press statement and addressed most of those issues. And I believe we are sitting pretty. Operations are going on. You've come here, you've seen.
Now, the US and China have agreed to slash tariffs on each other's goods for 90 days in a major de-escalation of their trade war. US Treasury Secretary, that is Scott Bessent, says both sides will cut tariffs by 115% from Wednesday. It means US tariffs on Chinese imports will fall to 30%, while Chinese tariffs on US goods will fall to 10%. China had maintained a defiant stance as US tariffs spiraled. It retaliated within its own steps levied and pledged that it would not back down. The breakthrough agreement comes after both sides held trade talks in Geneva over the weekend. Now, Pope Leo XIV demanded the release of imprisoned journalists in the first news conference of his pontificate, addressing the world's media in Vatican City. He said he reiterates the Church's solidarity with them for seeking the truth. He also calls for the precious gift of free speech to be safeguarded.
Permettetemi allora di ribadire oggi la solidarietà della Chiesa quella di promuovere una comunicazione capace di farci uscire